Hi, BookTube! My name is Sarah and welcome to the Bookish Knitter. Today I'm coming to you with a Friday Reads video. This is for Friday, July the 19th, 2024, and I'm actually filming this on Thursday evening, no surprise. This is exactly what I used to do when I did my Friday Reads back in the day. I obviously am not going to be doing daily updates for you guys. It's just too difficult. And plus, I'm currently in the middle of 6 books, so there's not a huge bit of difference day to day in terms of what I'm reading. I haven't decided exactly, I know I have an idea of a few videos I want to put up on the channel. I want to do these Friday reads every week, and I would like to do like a hospital update for you guys every week. I missed it this week, so I'll do it next Tuesday. I figure kind of my anniversary date of coming into the hospital, I'll do it every Tuesday. That hasn't been much to report anyway. I'll share that with you guys next week. And what else? Just other videos if and when I can. I'm going to be doing, of course, reviews and wrap-ups, and maybe if I finish a book, I'll just sit down and do a full review on it. I know they're not the thing that people watch the most, but at least it's something I can put up here on the channel. If you guys, I know that you've, asked for certain videos, like highlight videos or spotlight videos, if you will, and I do want to do those because they would be super fun to record, to spend the time to do research and record them. So yeah. So anyway, I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Pardon me, I've got the hiccups again. Wouldn't be a video of me sitting down with you guys unless I had the hiccups. So let me go ahead, share my screen here, share, and I'm going to flip back to StreamYard, and bear with me, add to stage. So I added a very pretty Christmas background. I hope you guys like it because, of course, I am co-hosting Christmas in July with my good friends Tiffany over at the Beach Bum Bookworm, Stormy over at Storm Reads, Sonia at Sonia with an I, and Amy Marie. So I will link all of their channels in the description box below. So I thought I would go book by book of the 6 that I'm reading. So you're probably like, oh my God, you're reading 6 books. How on earth do you keep them all straight? I realized this week that I'm not having a problem. And I think that's because I have the time. Generally, most of my time, I don't have much to do. And so that allows me the time to spend more time reading. I'm actually touching every single one of these books at least once a day. And yes, I'm not getting through them as fast as I'd like to, but I am really enjoying the process. I kind of like flipping from book to book. And the other thing is too, is that because I'm here, I'm not working, so I don't have work in my head as well. I have the ability to do this, and I'm really enjoying it. And yes, I am reading every single one of these digitally. I'm not, they're not audiobooks. Audiobooks, I can't do them more than one audiobook at a time. If I want to later, my original plan had been to have an audiobook and go for walks with my audiobook, but there's so much happening here at the hospital. Like when I'm just walking around, there's so much to see, because, people are always walking around and saying hi to people and whatever. It's not like I can really concentrate on the audiobook. So that very quickly fell to the wayside. So I've been listening to music when I take my little walks around, my little jaunts. But yeah, so I'm reading all these, either from the library or I have them already on Kindle or whatever the case may be. And every single one is in a category because I like to have categories. You guys know that. I like to put things in nice little boxes. I'm not creating a TBR for each of these categories. I picked the 6 categories. And so I have the book I'm currently reading, and I know what book I'm going to read next. And then once I finish the book I'm reading now, then I'll pick the book. So I always know what the next book is, but any further than that, that's as far as I know for each of these categories. So let me jump into the first one and we will go book by book. So this one I just started yesterday because I kind of like the idea of trying to work my way through some romance series. You know me, I'm a huge romance reader, and I went through and I picked 30 different romance series that I'd like to work my way through. And I just randomly picked a couple of them. This was the first one that came up and I was so excited. I have read this. I think I've read the first 3 books in this series, but I haven't got any further than that. And this is Heat Exchange by Shannon Stacy, the first book in the Boston Fire series. I have no earthly idea what made me want to pick up this book. The cover's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So basically this is about our main character, Lydia, who was once married to a firefighter, and he was kind of a serial cheat. He wasn't the nicest guy, and she divorced him. She comes from a family of firefighters, and she moves out of town to New Hampshire when she gets her divorce, and now there's been an issue with her sister and her husband that her sister needs her help at the local bar and please come home. And it's going to be the romance with her brother's best friend. So it's a brother's best friend romance, and he is obviously a firefighter. These are very hot and spicy books, and I don't just mean because of the fires. I also mean because of the firefighters and the spiciness within these books. They are so fun. Shannon Stacy is a fabulous, fabulous author that I think does not get enough credit, and she needs to be read more by people. So if you like some spicy romance, and if you like firefighters, I recommend you pick up this series. The next one, so that is for my romance series, and as I go through this over the next few months, you will see how this is going to play out. So I'm going to read like 3 or 4 different first books in series, and then I'll move on to the second books in all those series. And then when I finish a series, I'll pick another one from the list. I know how it's going to go in my head. So I'm doing the same thing with Cozy Mysteries. And this is the first one because it's the first Miss Marple. So this is actually another reread for me. But the first time I read it, I did listen to it on audio, which I really enjoyed. Richard E. Grant narrates this book. And if you are interested in listening to it on audio, but I am reading it now from my library, and this is The Murder in the Vicarage. It's Miss Marple #1, of course, by the great Agatha Christie. And basically a man is found dead in the local clergyman's study, and Miss Marple is on the case. And as I said, I've read 2 other Miss Marple books before. I'm like, she doesn't really do anything except for like garden and stick her nose in other people's business. But I guess that's what gets the mystery solved. But the story is actually told from the perspective of the vicar, which is quite interesting. So yeah, I am enjoying this one. I really enjoyed it the first time I listened to it on audio, but I have a feeling that I kind of sped through it a little bit. And I didn't get the full effect of it. So I'm really enjoying like actually taking the time to read it now, because actually there are maps in the book, which is delightfully fun. I mean, who doesn't love a good map in a book? Next up, I have a NetGalley read because I need to get through some of my horrendous amount of NetGalley books. And this is The Cornish Beach Cafe by Jane Linfoot. This has already been released. I think it came out this past Tuesday or Wednesday. And this is a very typical chick lit novel about a girl who moved to the big city, ended up having a breakup, is now back home in her small town. This takes place in Cornwall in the UK. And, you know, her and her friends are just kind of, it's a women's fiction. This is definitely chick lit. It's not just contemporary romance because there's a lot of other things going on. She has a little beach hut that she needs to turn into a cafe for reasons. And I mean, it's fun. The one thing I'm noticing though, those of you who read chick lit will notice that with those books, they tend to be on the sweeter side of romance. This one is a little spicy, and we haven't had any spicy scenes yet, but definitely the way the characters talk to each other. And I'm not saying that they're swearing at each other and things like that, but definitely more spicy things are being mentioned, more spicy thoughts, if you will. So I will report back and let you guys know if this one ends up being a spicy chick lit, which just sounds weird, but it might be a thing. It might be if anyone else has read this author, do let me know if that's standard to their writing, because I'd be very interested to know. The next one I am reading, I am so enjoying. This one is so much fun. This is Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. This is my library book, so I also have a category of library books because I have like a gazillion books on hold at my library digitally. And this is about a woman who in the very first page finds out that she is pregnant. Her name's Eve. And this was the result of a one-night stand. So she ends up telling the guy, and, you know, you think it's going to be the romance between them because that's typically how these things go, but it's actually not. It's actually going to be the romance between her and her best friend's brother. And he's so super sweet, kind of goofy, kind of lanky. I really, really like him. His name is Shep. And he's really helping her with this whole pregnancy. So the course of the book takes place over the entire course of her pregnancy, which is super fantastic. And I really like the way the story is told. Like it's even broken up like first trimester, second trimester. So yeah, it's really delightful. And the fact that she isn't a glowing, happy, oh, I love being pregnant. Like she's like puking into garbage cans. Not enjoying, you know, smells and stuff. It's reasons as I read this, I'm thinking, thank goodness I was never pregnant. But it is super fun. It's hilarious too. Absolutely hilarious, you guys. Next up, I have a Harlequin book because I can never not have a Harlequin book on the go. And this is going to give some people, you know, the shakes. But I am reading Colton's Ultimate Test by Beth Corneliuson. This is the 12th book in the Coltons of Colorado series. No, I have not read the previous 11, and I'm fine with that. So this is about our main character, Morgan, who is a lawyer, and this is the final book in this mini series. So they're hunting the killer, and she reaches out to the local barkeep who used to be in prison to help her maybe find this guy, and there's going to be a romance between them. I can't say much more than that because these are relatively short books, but it's really good so far. And yeah, I mean, this one is definitely, to me, edging more on the relationship at this point, and I'm about 30% of the way through it. More about the relationship between Morgan and, what is his name? Is it Aiden? What's his name? Morgan and Roman, than it is really on the actual case. So that's a thing. But the romantic suspense novels, it usually does focus more on the romance than the suspense. So yeah. And the final book that I am currently reading is, drum roll please, Something for Christmas in July. The Trouble with Christmas. And this is by Debbie Mason. This is the first book in the Christmas Colorado series. This was actually turned into a Hallmark movie, to my understanding. I have not watched it. I don't watch Hallmark movies. Some of you may have seen this one, about a woman who they were going to build a resort in the small town of Christmas, Colorado. She axed it because financially it just wouldn't have been good for the town. And now the town folk are mad at her, and she comes to appease them. And then all these like things happen. And now she has to stay in town, and it's going to be the relationship between her and the local sheriff. So far, it is so cute and so festive. We have a grumpy, aunt. We have a surly teenager. We have the hot sheriff. It's fantastic, and I'm really, really enjoying it. So yeah, this is the first in the series, and I did have this one on Kindle, so it worked out perfectly that I had a copy of it. But anyway, guys, that is it. I think I've talked long enough now, and let me stop sharing here. And yeah, let me know in the comment section below, what are you guys reading? And have you read any of the books that I just talked about? And until my next video, take care and happy reading. Thanks all so much for watching. Bye, guys.